about.
It's exactly what I'm talking about, and I think it's a very. I wouldn't be surprised if you do a survey to non-meditators. So pick people who are explicitly non-meditators and ask them this question. I think a majority will say yes. And the question is, do you notice something that has not changed in your deepest sense of self from when you're a child? I think it's a very palpable known experience. I might be wrong, but I think it's a very, it's just very evident. It's this really like strange sense of there's something really deep that is completely unchanged, has not grown up, has not, and in fact you see, you can surprise yourself like, wow, I have this body now, my mind is like this, my life is like this, and it still feels like it's exactly that which is seeing was seeing the 4 or 5 year old in the mirror playing with a friend, or it's that subjectivity is the same, it's unchanged. And that's exactly what I'm pointing to, because that's what is outside of time, and it's completely unaffected by experience. It's unaffected by the body aging, by the mind changing, by knowledge becoming more sophisticated. It's unaffected by pain, by all the struggle, by depression. When there is depression, that is not depressed. It's so, everything I'm pointing to since the first group I did is pointing to that, which is so obvious, it's so overlooked. And it's very simple, but you need all these complex ways of talking about it, pointing to it, because it's, and a perfect joke about this is, there's a way in which it's a joke, and I'll probably say wrong, but it's actually an image, and it's a little fish in an ocean meeting another bigger fish and asking for directions to the ocean. And the bigger fish is like and then the fish is swimming, going, around the continents looking for the ocean. But it's because it just cannot see it. We cannot see it because it's everything. But it's also, it's nothing. Then you in language you have all of these pointers of, it's everything and nothing, it's emptiness and fullness, but the important part is it's related to our sense of self. It's not a thing out there. It's identical to what, when we use the word I, we are pointing to that ocean, that empty fullness. But then in our mind, we confuse that ocean with the body and with the mind. And that we call identification. We, as that ocean, interpret that we are the mind, the image and the narrative of what we are in the mind. So, put it this way, how often when you are moving in your day on a daily basis, and every moment of your day, how often are you aware that you are that which is the same when you were 5 years old? How often are you relating to life from that place which is, at any time you ask yourself, you will find it. You just need to pause for a moment, look, and do the exercise of a kind of memory that it's pointing to. Yeah, there's something prior to this experience of now, of then, of before, and you recognize it was always there. It is always there, always unchanged. But we don't live from that knowing. We collapse into our image of what we are, which is now this body and this mind. And the more you can recognize, you are that which was the same decades ago, is unchanged. It starts to reveal as we recognize that more and more and embody it, let's say it starts to reveal certain aspects of its nature. It starts to become more palpable. But it's not, we don't develop that. We don't attain it. It's just the more we lean into it and sink into this reality, it becomes more and more palpable, its attributes, let's say. It becomes more palpable that it's outside of time, it's infinite, it's open, it's loving, it's at peace, it's joyful. And that's why we see that a lot in children. And then there's this, we talk about this forgetting. But that openness that a child has, we have as well. It's just kind of like we you could say we forget it. We forget that that's what we are now as well. And we operate from this idea that we are something else.